Well, maybe I should, let me just talk about the conventional farmers. My experience is, I've spoken at a lot of venues, particularly agricultural schools, where a lot of conventional farmers who feel very threatened by the food movement have shown up. And what they're hearing about the food movement is filtered through the Farm Bureau's publications usually, and the Farm Bureau's propaganda. And certainly what they're hearing about me is coming through that lens, and what that lens is telling them is that these people, these food reformers, want to destroy agriculture as we know it, are hostile to farmers, want to turn back the clock to the farming that your grandfather or great-grandfather did, and are blaming farmers for obesity and diabetes and climate change. Okay, those are the talking points they're hearing. And they're not, most of these people haven't read Omnivore's Dilemma, but they get the gloss, and that's the gloss they're getting. And so I spent a lot of time kind of trying to talk through these issues with them. And my general sense is that it's possible to show them that the organizations ostensibly representing them are not really representing their interests, and that they stand to benefit from a more decentralized and farmer-centered food system, and that as soon as you start talking to them about monopoly, they really understand that, and that's fundamentally the common ground. Monopoly threatens us as eaters. Monopoly is something we can taste every day at McDonald's or at the supermarket. But monopoly threatens them too, because they're price takers, and they are forced. They've lost complete control of their marketplace. And so, if the food movement is presented to them as a way to establish alternative economic structures, as a way to create new markets, as a way to drive middlemen out of the food marketplace, suddenly they're all ears, and they want to play. And their challenge is getting from here to there, or there to here, because it's very hard to move. Once you've invested in that confinement hog shed, once you've, it's a very capital-intensive kind of agriculture, and they've spent a lot of money, and so it's very hard for them to get out of it. But I've had ranchers in particular who, in one breath will tell me how angry they are about what I've said about feedlot agriculture, and the next they'll be like, well, let's just say hypothetically I wanted to get in on this grass-fed deal, how do I do it?
My brother wants it.
Now, I'm not an agricultural extension guy, and I don't have really good answers to that question. And those are answers, though, we need to develop. And obviously, we need our ag extension to be helping people. We need our universities who teach agriculture to be helping. But there are opportunities. And one of my critiques of organic is that it's all or nothing. And it doesn't really, it's very hard for people to make the move from conventional to organic, because you've got 3 years where you have the added expense of going organic, but you're not getting the premium. Now, in some countries, the government helps people over the hump with policies to subsidize that farmers during that period. And we need to create structures that allow farmers to move. And right now, we have the opposite. They are so locked in, and those are the things we have to work for. But as an issue for the food movement, the challenge to basically monopoly control of agriculture is, I think that's where we have the potential to join forces with a lot of conventional farmers to basically diversify farming economically and biologically.